Three, two, one.
Hi, guys. We had a minor puppy crisis, so we're running a bit late. Puppies take precedence today for some unknown reason. Our little gal is settling in just fine. Maze. We're discovering very aptly named.
Yes.
She's a little demon. And she decided she was going to misbehave this morning, so we had to deal with her. Let's call it that. We had to deal with her.
She's in timeout.
She's in timeout right now. This house has been full of energy all week. That's putting it mildly. She has energized everybody in this household. So Miss Mays is quite a little handful, and she's not happy about being timed out. I can hear her whining. She's adorable, and she's a lot of fun, and she's a holy terror. That's all we're going to say about that today. We're going to be painting Christmas roses today. I got my hands on some old vintage wrapping paper and some vintage Christmas cards, and I kind of pulled ideas from all of those things to create this one. And I really love this one. There's something really elegant about it and still a little bit rustic, which really appealed to me. So I hope you guys have fun with this one. I also wanted to bring in a simple faux finish, nothing too elaborate, nothing too difficult, but something to create a little bit of interest, some nice rich tones, and a little bit of visual texture. So thought we would do just this simple frottage effect for this background, which is a nice one. It's done very easily, and you can do it with almost anything that you have at home. So that was my reasoning behind the finish for this background, and I think you're going to enjoy it. It's simple, doesn't need a lot of materials, and it creates a really rich and elegant background, and it can be done with a variety of colors to great effect. So I think you'll really like this one. So we're going to have fun with that. But before we get on to throwing paint around and on things, we have some giveaways this week. And they're a little bit special because they're a little heftier than our usual, just a little bit. We have a beautiful, beautiful varnishing brush. Well, I use them for varnishing. It's a 1-inch filbert. Nice big filbert. It's a beautiful brush, and it's perfect for varnishing. This one is a Dynasty Water Lily. If you're looking for them retail, they're running around $14 to $15 each. They're a beautiful brush, and we have 3 of them to give away. And in that package of goodies is a great little set of Tombow drawing pens. My favorites. I absolutely love these drawing pens. I use mine daily. And there's a set of those in each package. Plus, we have a great brand new stencil for you from the Stencil Studio. So, nice little gift package, rounds out to about $35. Which is not bad. Not bad for a little giveaway. So, we have 3 of those to give away at the end of today's live. And we're going to play with some stencils and some stamps and a fun faux finish. And I'm going to create this really pretty sort of a Victorian or vintage feel Christmas sign. So that is what we are up to today. And I have a couple of people I have to shout out to. Linda Safranco, mwah, if mom is watching, mwah, to Mary. Glad Mary's watching. We love having you. And Linda, every week you do so much for me. And in the last 3 weeks when I have not been 100%, you've carried an awful lot of the load. And I really wanted to say thank you for everything that you've done. You've kept everybody up to date. You've kept the group page going. You've done far more than I ever expect of you. So thank you very, very much. And one of our members, Margie Eaton, had surgery yesterday. And so if you're of a mind, please send up some prayers. Apparently, she did very well. Surgery was a success. Everything went swimmingly, and she should be home recovering very soon. So, Margie, if you're watching, my dear, we're so glad that you're hale and hearty and on your way home to heal up. So, glad to hear it. And I think there's silence in the garage. No, there's not.
Nope.
That was wishful thinking on my part. So if you guys are ready to get started on our Christmas roses, so am I.
All right, I gotta go check on Puppy.
Okay. So the piece we're painting is Christmas roses. And of course, I don't know where my finished piece is. Honestly. I have no idea where my finished piece is. Anyway. So our finished piece is done on an 8x10 postage stamp. I love that surface. I think it's a neat one. Heavens. And I have no idea where mine went. So we're on an 8x10 postage stamp surface. And the base color for it is this. This is Country Red. And I'm going to adjust my palette cam there. Hopefully. Looks a little bit better. There we go. So we're going to work on a background. Now this one is a smooshing technique or a frottage. The word frottage means to hit. We're going to use, I'm using a little bit of tissue paper for mine. You can actually use brown paper, craft paper, just something that's a little on the absorbent side. I'm going to use tissue paper because it's what I have on hand. And I know that it works very, very well. So, but there's two sides. One side is sort of matte and one side has a little bit of a sheen. And this is the side that I'm going to use. It's that shiny side. And we have to mix a glaze. Now, we're going to do that with a little bit of soft black and a little bit of Deckwork glazing medium. Now, you can use any glazing medium. It doesn't have to be Deckworks. It doesn't have to be Americana. It can be the Jo Sonja Fast Dry Glaze, as long as you're going to thin out this paint. You can do it with water, although I think you'll find it'll do some strange things, but I'm going to show you. I'm working with a little bit of soft black. Good gravy. Doesn't want to come out of the bottle. So a little bit of soft black on my palette. Ooh, goodness. And you want to go about 3 parts or even 4 of glaze. And I put way too much paint on my palette, but that's okay. And you're going to use a palette knife and mix this glaze and paint mixture. It's going to be very runny, but fortunately it does mix very easily. And we're going to have a nice soft black glaze. So the ratio is about 3 or 4 to 1. So 3 or 4 parts glaze to 1 part paint. And the brush that I'm going to use is, I'm just using a Palmer. You can use any flat brush for this. You just need something that's going to move the paint around quickly. So the bigger the brush is, the better. So this one is a 2-inch flat. This is a Palmer. And make sure the brush is wet. And you're going to put a coat of this glaze over the whole surface. Neatness does not count for this. It can go on any which way you want. It does not matter. Just like so. You just want a generous amount on this surface. If you put it on too thin, it's going to dry too quickly and you won't have a chance to work with it. So I have a fair amount of glaze on there. I'm going to take my tissue paper and crumple it so that it's got lots of folds and creases in it. Just like that. And shiny side down. And I'm going to let it keep all of those creases and folds. And you're going to pat it with the palm of your hand. No fingertips, just the palm of your hand. And then very quickly pull it out. And then repeat the process. Like so. Now, it leaves behind a really pretty texture. Now, if there's areas, like I'm seeing one here, where I don't really have any texture, you can crumple up your paper and just dab very lightly. And it will sort of soften out and pull off a little of that glaze. So, I'm going to take my heat it tool. I'm going to dry this. And then I'm going to decide if it's dark enough to suit me. I like it a little darker. I like a softer texture. I don't like it so harsh. But this actually looks pretty good. So it's a simple finish, and it works very nicely, but you want to work a little quickly. If you have a tendency to press things with your fingertips, you will be able to see every fingertip in that finish, and you want to avoid that. So I try to use the palm of your hand to pat the paper down. Crumpled craft paper, postage paper, tissue paper, as long as it's crumpled and you get all those nifty folds and creases in it. The heavier the paper, the bigger and coarser the pattern is. The softer the paper, the more subtle the pattern is. So I'm really liking this one. This is quite pretty, but it is still a little bit bright. So I'm going to give this a second to dry really well. Now I want to deepen this a little bit, so I'm going to take my glaze. I'm going to pick up a little bit of water and thin out the glaze just a little. I want it just a little bit thinner. And I'm going to very quickly put a wash of that black over top. And it's just a wash. It's very thin. So I've got a nice little wash over top. And I'm going to take another piece of our tissue paper and crumple it. And shiny side down, I'm going to there we go. Tap that into place. So with that thinner glaze over top, it just builds that texture a little bit, and it darkens that surface just a little. So I'm going to dry this, and that is our background.
Back in puppy jail.
Maze is in puppy jail. Not Sky Jail today?
Nope. Getting too heavy for
It's amazing how much she's grown in a week. But I suppose they're puppies, they grow fast. So there we go. There is our simple faux finished background. It's beautiful texture. It works really nicely for all sorts of things. This is very pretty on furniture, but it does make a wonderful background especially for something like these Christmas themed pieces. So once you have this part done, and you're going to want to let this dry really well, so that because it is going to feel a little sticky until that glaze is completely dry. So you can set this aside, let it dry completely, and then give it an hour or so, and then you'll be able to come back in and trace and transfer your line drawing on. And then we will move on to that next step.
How's training going? The best way to put it is I'm not really focused on any obedience right now. I'm more focused on her being trying to develop behaviors is the best way I could put it.
Yeah.
So she's not chasing the cats around the house and knowing when and where to use her prey drive kind of thing.
Manners.
Manners.
She's learning manners. Right now, she doesn't have any.
Right now, she has to understand that chasing the cats inside the house is a no-no. So that's why she's in timeout right now. Again.
She's chasing Ari again.
Yeah. Mind you, Aries.
Ari is an instigator, though.
Yeah, Aries instigating it.
So the piece we're working on is this one. I love this. There's just something elegant about this. And I'm kind of obsessed with red backgrounds right now, as is evidenced by the pile that's sitting on the corner of my desk. So I'm going to clear off my palette here because I've got quite the mess already. One color. And we've already got a mess. Gifted, gifted, gifted today. And I still can't find my finished piece. Actually, I think I just saw it. There it is. It's on top of the computer and under something else. So this is the piece we're going to be doing. I love this. I love holly. Holly is just so pretty for the holidays, and this one is going to be a lot of fun to do. Now, I used a postage stamp for this because I kind of like the postage stamp idea, and not only that, but it gives me a chance to use my cancellation stamps, which I'm kind of obsessed with too. So this is our piece. It has a pretty simple color palette. So we're going to be working on establishing some shadows first. And I'm going to do that with a little bit of lamp black and a little bit of soft black. Now, ordinarily, when I'm painting this kind of thing, I do this first before I base coat anything. But for the sake of expediency, I had to get some base coating done ahead of time. So with an angled shader, I'm going to take a little bit of soft black and blend it out well on the palette. I've got that moved way over. I'm going to move the camera. How's that? So I'm going to take a little bit of that soft black and I want to float up in behind these flowers here in this corner. I want to get this black in behind. We want a nice dark shadow in that corner. Just like that. That little bit of soft black. And then you can deepen that with a little bit of lamp black. Just so that we've got nice rich shadows in this corner. There we go. And it just lends some nice weight. We're going to bring that lamp black and soft black mixture up in there. A little bit of lamp black is so rich over top of this sort of faux leather, I guess is the term. We're going to deepen these shadows really nicely up under there. Little bit. So going in and around and up underneath the floral, it just gives it a little bit more depth. And it gives this piece a little more richness. And you can come back in at any time and take a little bit of that lamp black if you need to deepen a few shadows or amp up a few things, that you can always come back in and do it again. I always thin the paint out quite a bit so it's not a harsh and hard shadow. but these shadows need to be there. Just like that. So it just gives some nice height. So this doesn't look like it's just stuck onto that surface. It lifts it up a little bit. So I'm going to dry this. And because we're working over top of some soft black and that red, those shadows blend and soften quite nicely. So my base coats for this piece are as follows. So on these leaves, I've used lush green or antique green. Either one will work. I used lush in this case. And we're going to use a little bit of black green and some plantation pine. How about the dog? Hi. Hi. So we have company. Maze is in the building. So we're going to start by shading our holly leaves. We're going to do that with first shading of black green. And I like to take my greens, this sort of U-shaped float, just at the base of the leaf where it joins the stem. And get in underneath those flowers, underneath those petals.
I had to bring Maze down here.
Now we want these nice rich deep tones because it's in keeping with the rest of this piece. All of these deep reds, these rich reds. And these greens work so nicely with it. So I'm just bringing them all.
Hey. Don't chew on that. Especially we just got audio demons out of the system. We don't need this demon creating audio issues.
So getting that nice deep shadow in there helps lift the flowers up as well. And it separates the leaves a little bit. I love that lush green with plantation pine and black green combined. The black green is a very dark, very, very dark green, but it's also quite transparent. And so it lends itself very well to this. We're building some depth up. And I love this color. So we're going to build up some really nice contrast here. So we're going to have some really rich dark shadows and then some really bright and vibrant highlights.
Linda Safranco was wondering what you had for dinner last night.
Oh yes, my husband and I celebrated are celebrating our 39th wedding anniversary. And he took me out for dinner last night. We went to the Crown Plaza to a restaurant called Maxwell's. It's a steakhouse, and it was exceptional. My husband had crab cakes as his appetizer, and I had the beef carpaccio, which was out of this world. The crab cakes were amazing, but the carpaccio was to die for. And our entree, my husband had a crisp chicken breast with an amazing stuffing. It was just to die for. And then I had the classic ribeye steak.
You calm down now? Yeah, she's going for a puppy snooze.
Is she?
Yeah, she's at my feet.
She does not like being alone. We know that.
Deb Bloomfield with a $10 donation. Thank you, Deb.
Deb. So once I have that first shading in, I'm going to go back in and shade the center vein of each leaf with a float of that black green.
There's Miss Maze. I had to put up a picture.
Oh.
I had to go through your Instagram in order to get one.
Oh.
I don't have any on this laptop. That's Miss Maze.
Yes, she has, let's just say she's up to the energy level in this house in the last few days.
But when she sleeps...
Yeah, you have to check to make sure she's breathing. She's just...
Jeez.
She sleeps hard. All of the animals have been sleeping hard of late.
I wonder why.
Everybody's exhausted. She's very busy. That's the best word I can use. She's very busy.
I can't see Facebook.
I can.
You got Facebook there?
I do so. Yeah. Yes, she is. She's such a cutie. Such a cutie.
I gotta scroll back to see if there's any questions about the painting. Any damages from the storm?
No. Well, we don't have any more leaves on the trees, but...
Can we get a peek at Maze?
They want a peek at Maze.
Oh yeah, she has one ear up and one ear down right now.
Yeah.
So that picture is about a week old.
Yeah. Yeah, she's stolen my husband's heart.
Ah, there we go. Melina Lanka?
Hello, Melina.
Was wondering what you base coated the leaves with.
The leaves are done with lush green is the base color. One coat is all you really need.
I had to go back a bit here.
Yeah. And you may see some of the red peeking through. That's okay. We have 3 other greens to put on top of this. So there's still a lot of paint going on here. So that little bit of red that peeks through will disappear as you go. So I'm going to do that final float down the center vein. I'm still using that black green.
Wow, Linda. We want to see her. You want proof of life. Is this a hostage negotiation? Or?
Grab one of the cameras there and show them.
Oh, she's awake.
Miss Maze.
The camera's going all wonky.
Uh-huh.
There she is.
There's Miss Maze. Whoops.
Camera's all wonky. She's hanging out. Sleeping.
Yeah. Here she is. She's growing like a weed. So I've got that first shading in. We're going to go back in I'm going to switch to a slightly larger brush. I'm going to go to a 1/2 inch angle. And we're going to tone these leaves. I'm going to use a little bit of plantation pine. It's not quite as dark. And I'm going to go right over top of all of that first shading. And it's going to give these leaves a richness. It's going to make those greens a little richer, a little more vibrant. I love this color. Plantation.
Jessica.
What?
She just made a $50 donation.
Aw, thank you.
She says, we're so close to our goal.
We're getting there.
It'll be awesome to get there. Yeah, a month. 1 month.
Yep.
To raise just under $400. $377. Just saying. Pretty close.
So there's that float of the plantation pine over top of that. So it just gives the leaves a little richness without losing all of that nice rich dark shading that we just put in there. But it gives us a little richness and a little more vibrancy. And I love this tone over top of black green. It's just yummy. So there is our plantation pine over top of that black green. So we've got those nice deep dark shadows, but now we've got this nice lush, a really rich color coming through. So then comes the fun part. I'm going to use, I'm going to come back to my 3/8 angle, and I have 2 colors I'm going to work with. I have a little bit of margarita, which is that high yellow green, and because it's Renee, some neons. So we have a little bit of neon green. So
Oh, you're tuckered.
I'm going to load up. Now this is our highlight color. So I'm going to bring that gorgeous green out onto those points like so, and down that center vein opposite that first shading that we did. And so we get this really bright highlight. Don't worry about the shading. We're going to come back and amplify that a little bit.
Okay, so it's not 377 as I said.
Okay.
It's 327.
There you go.
Again, thank you, Jessica. You're awesome. Will Maze be as big as Dot, or do you think bigger? I'm hoping she's going to be a little smaller than Dot. She'll definitely be a little bit leaner than Dot.
Yeah.
If I have my way, anyway. I have a strange feeling there's going to be some spoilage. My father has a hard time saying no,
Yes.
especially to puppies and kittens.
Yeah. He does like to spoil his fur babies.
So I made sure I bought like low-calorie treats so he doesn't have a chance to fatten them up. However,
Having said that,
I have a strange feeling she is going to be slightly taller than Dot, but way less.
yeah.
'Cause she's already all legs.
Yeah, she's got long legs. And she's extremely inquisitive.
And tenacious.
Yeah.
Very tenacious. Still got the puppy biting.
Oh,
We're
yes.
working on that.
I have 2 gray sweaters that I like wearing on the daily. I just putz around the house in them, and both of them have the front right bottom corner of the sweater is chewed.
It's because you let her.
I try not to.
I know.
It's those puppy eyes. Puppy eyes will do you in every time.
Yes.
And she knows how to use them.
I don't miss the puppy biting stage. Neither do I. It is.
It's like living with a piranha.
Yeah. She is a piranha.
Yeah,
She is
she's a piranha.
She's a piranha. If it moves, it gets bit.
Well, I haven't decided if she's tasting us or tenderizing us, one of the two.
She is a shepherd,
Yeah,
so she does have herding tendencies.
yeah. Well, she herds me into the kitchen.
Food.
Yeah. Okay, this is the cheese lady. No cheese for you.
Yeah. Both my dad and I have gotten the nips behind the legs.
Yep. She hasn't bitten my legs yet, thanks. She reserves that for my feet. So that highlight, in most cases, I come down, this is the highlight side. So everything on this side is getting the brighter highlights. Although you do have to highlight almost everything. We're focusing on those edges that catch the light. So they're closest to the light or turned toward it. So these leaves and this point is going to get a little bit brighter. Even though we have a highlight down the center vein, like so,
Oh, okay.
this portion of the leaf gets the brighter highlight. What's that?
Melina Lanka is asking if your speech bubble on your website is still there.
No, it isn't. It, for whatever reason, does not function properly.
Okay.
So they're still trying to get it fixed. We actually had quite a problem with our whole email service went down there for a bit. So, but all you have to do is go into the More button on the top menu and click on Contact. That email is working fine, which the other one is not.
Do you have any suggestions to how to stop a dog chasing chickens? A leash. Definitely a leash. A leash and lots and lots and lots of exposure. You're basically going to teach your dog to not chase the chickens by understanding that chickens aren't fun to chase.
Yep.
So there has to be a repercussion to their action. So the leash would be it. I get put on the leash if I chase the chickens. I don't like being on the leash, so if I stop chasing the chickens,
No leash.
I don't get a leash. They do make that connection. Just like this one is slowly learning chase the cat, end up in the garage alone.
She doesn't
I don't
that.
like being alone.
No more
I
chasing
stopped
the
chasing the cat.
cat. She's catching on little by little.
She'll get it. Just repetition, 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 and consistency.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Sooner or later, one of my favorite and effective puppy training timeouts, I call it sky jail, is when you literally just pick up the dog while they're doing something that they're not supposed to be, or any behavior that is unwanted. You just pick them up and wait for them to relax, put them back down. And they will figure out, like, okay, Doesn't work on dogs that like being picked up.
But if you're interfering with something they really enjoy.
Yeah. Ari is still going to want to play. She's an instigator.
Oh, she's terrible.
She goes looking for Maze
Yep.
to get stuff going.
Mm.
Can't see you loading the brush?
Oh.
Oh, that camera. Oh. I want to tilt the camera up a little bit. Good. Should be
Did
good
that
there.
work?
I hope so. There you go. Yeah, you're good.
So it's just for that highlight, it's just a side load, nothing elaborate. I'm just using a little bit of margarita.
Ooh. Dog grief is the worst. How do I help my dog get over his grief of losing his brother?
Oh,
That hurts.
and that's just time.
That comes down to time and have as much fun as you possibly can with that dog.
Distracting him.
Yeah, distract him. Find his favorite thing, even though if he's not showing interest in his favorite thing,
Yeah.
show him that you're interested in his favorite thing.
Yeah.
More walks, spend more time with them.
Yeah, that is a real thing.
Yeah. Dog grief it's hard to watch.
So one more leaf, and then we're going to see where
What can you use instead of margarita?
olive green will work, matcha green will work, any high yellow green is going to work for you. And I like one that's got a little bit of white in it. So any one of those ones that I just listed will do the trick. It just means that it's a little more opaque. And the finish is a little bit chalky, so it gives you something.
And which brush are you using right now?
This one is the 3/8 angle. Now these leaves are going to look a little messy for a bit. We've gone over the center vein, we've interrupted the shading, whatnot. We're going to come back in and redo that. But before we do, we're going to take a little bit of that neon green and load your brush as if to float. And you're going to come down here onto those highlights, and this is where you're going to punch them up. That little float of that neon green over top is where we get all that brightness, that punch of light. That little bit of neon green. I love my neons. And because everything on this is so muted, we have these subdued reds and whatnot, it's a nice contrast to see that punch of brighter green on this. And so your leaves get this nice vivid.
I didn't even realize the washing machine was running. I think we gave somebody puppy fever.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Go get yourself a buddy.
Little Miss Maze is, as I said,
She's out cold right now, so.
yeah. The household has. Ari brought a lot of energy in the house. Maze has just amplified it. That's all.
Really?
So look at how vibrant those leaves are. They pop off of that. That little bit of that neon green over top of that matcha or the margarita. Any one of those high yellow and white based greens are going to work just fine. I love the vibrancy that it gives these.
Possible visit to a dog park? No.
No, not yet.
Nah, probably never. I came to the realization that dog parks are what's the word for it? A breeding ground for bad behavior.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who are irresponsible dog owners. So, rather risk it. Probably won't go to a dog park until I am comfortable that her behavior is sound.
Yeah.
Sounds like my washing machine.
Yeah, I got one of those ones that talks to you.
Does it send you messages?
Yes.
Your laundry is complete.
I don't know what got. I mean, I've never seen your father so excited over a washing machine. It's that thing because it has wireless capability.
Because he can control it with his phone.
Doodads, gadgets, and gizmos. That's my husband.
He was excited about it when the stove was connected to his phone.
I know, and he doesn't even do the cooking.
He just thinks it's cool.
Yeah, he thinks it's cool. But this is the guy that when Google Home came out, he had to have it. So yes.
Now there's what? 1, 2, 3,
4.
4. There's one down here, isn't it?
5. Yeah.
Yeah, five Google Homes in this house.
And they control the lights.
They control
and the TV. And the radios.
You know what controls my lights?
Click.
Yeah,
the switch on the wall.
The switch on the wall. Funny that.
It's the same with the ceiling fans in the master bedroom.
Had the remote, I see.
We have a remote control. And why? I don't even like the remote control for the TV. And I'm the techie between the two of us. I'm the one with all the technology, but he has to have all the little gizmos and gadgets. So with just a couple more leaves to do, these little ones up here. And then we're going to go back in and deepen all of those shadows. And that's going to give us some really nice shape. And give us really nice sharp details on this. Look how pretty. Lots of vibrancy. So far, that's 4 colors. We have lush green for the base coat, black green for the first shading, plantation pine for the second shading, and then we've got the margarita for the first highlight. Second highlight is all of that neon. So that's 5 colors on one leaf. It's a lot of colors. So I'm going to dry this, and we're going to go back in. Going to go back in and add one more shading to this. And it's just to clean up a few little edges. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to take that plantation pine and just smooth out. It just amps up the contrast from that highlight to that shaded area. And look at how sharp and clean. We get beautiful sharp detail on these leaves. And this part is super simple. It's just cleaning up those center veins. I mean, if you want, you can do it with the black grain. It doesn't have to be plantation pine. If you want them really dark, you can use whatever you like. But I like my plantation pine. It gives us these really nice, crisp shadows. I learned something really interesting about holly the other day. Holly actually doesn't have pointed leaves until the portion of the plant comes under some sort of threat, meaning if birds start stealing the berries and whatnot, then it develops these points as a means of self-defense. So the tops or the upper portions of the plant will have these pointed leaves, and the lower actually will have rounded off and smooth edges. So I just thought it was an interesting thing that the plant develops the points as a means of self-defense. So I'm going to grab my liner, and I'm going to mix a little bit of margarita with a little bit of that neon green. And I'm going to get a nice bright green out of this. And this is our stem color. So I'm going to start stroking in the stems to these leaves, like so, with that mix.
See if I can't brighten it up. I saw Linda saying if we could bring up the brightness a bit. See what I can do.
So all these little stems and tendrils that you see are going to be that brush mix of that neon green and the margarita together.
How's that?
Just gives us a nice bright green. And these small leaves up here are going to get this little squiggly line treatment. A little bit of Joe Sonia's. There we go. Wasn't coming off my brush very easily. There we go. All these nice little vines and tendrils.
Mind you, I think I know where a lot of that energy came from.
What's that?
Haven't gone for a walk yet,
Oh, okay.
but she's crashing now, so once we're done the live, I am taking this pup for a walk because she's going to be raring to go.
So while you have that little mixture out, this is your opportunity to add these little details to the edges of those leaves. It's just a thin line, just to crisp up a few things. And it's mostly on that highlight side. You know, that portion of the leaf that's catching the light, because your highlight is coming from this side. So we can amp that up a little bit without too much difficulty. And I like that little curl at the bottom of the leaf at the tip. That little curl just gives them a little bit more elegance, I think.
Laura Villargas. Ooh, I can't hardly wait to paint this. It's beautiful. What kind of puppy did you get, Renee? A Belgian Malinois.
And she's such a cutie.
She is cute. We had a picture up earlier.
Yeah. She's cute and she's a demon.
Actually, there you go. There's a picture. Pop the picture back up. 2, 3. And make it go away because we got to watch the painting.
There's Miss Maze. Somebody asked the other day where we got the name Maze.
Maze.
Maze is short for Mazikeen. Mazikeen is a demon, meaning one that does harm.
Those who do harm.
Those who do harm, yes.
Because Mazakin is a type of demon.
Yeah.
So there's multiple of them.
Uh-huh.
Mazikeen is one of them.
Yeah. So she's Mazikeen of the Mazakin.
Yeah.
Okay.
From Lucifer.
Kind of.
Kind of.
It's actually accurate.
It is accurate.
Yeah. So we have leaves. Now, I am going to go back in at some point and add a little bit of aging to these leaves. I just realized I missed one. Right here. And it will not do. I need... There we go.
We have a over 100-year-old holly tree near our back deck.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't think...
Holly does grow here, but not in profusion.
No.
No. I love it. I've always loved holly. It's just such a pretty, pretty plant. So, we have leaves. We have struck leaves.
How does Maze do on the leash? Better.
Yeah.
Day 1, not so much. Day 2, she was a little bit better. Now, we just got to get the herding thing out of her system. She likes to bite the back of my leg when we go for a walk, so. But she's pretty good on a leash.
So we're going to use a little bit of warm white, and we're going to finish base coating these flowers. Now the interesting thing about this is we're using thinned paint. We do not need it to be fully opaque. I'm going to...
Masticator.
The Masticator, yeah.
Is that what you called her?
I called her the Maligator.
Oh, the Maligator. Masticator is also correct.
Yep.
Maligator is just a general term for all Malinois. So.
Yeah, Maligator.
Maligators.
Yeah.
They like to do a death roll.
And she does it. It's hilarious. So all of these inside portions of these petals are going to get base coated with warm white. And I've thinned it out quite a bit because we do not need it to be fully opaque. It's actually easier to get the end result if it's not like completely solid. So I have thinned this out a fair amount. I've got a goodly amount of glaze or water in the paint. And I've left the turnovers, those little portions of the petals that are flipped over, I'm leaving those till the end.
If you don't have wildberry, what can you use?
That's a good one.
Oh.
Wildberry.
Replaced with?
I gotta find my wildberry.
Oh, Tracy Craig. $50 donation.
Thank you.
In memory of my Tina.
Aw.
Well, thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina.
So I'm thinking a little bit of joyful pink. Or even razzleberry. We're going to thin it out anyway, so it doesn't... Razzleberry will work. Joyful pink will work. Just need a nice rich pink. That's all. So I'm going to fill this in. And you'll notice that I'm pulling the paint from the center out to the edge and filling the shape of the petal. But we are not worrying about those little flip overs. Those at this point are of no consequence.
What do you do and say to her when she terrorized the kittens? I don't say anything. I just pick her up and I take her to the garage and I leave her there for 5-10 minutes.
Time out.
Yep.
Or sky gel.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah. She gets the message. Eventually.
And she whines, she complains, she barks.
But she settles.
And once she settles down, then I go back in and I let her back out. And if she does it again, she goes back in.
So we have all of our flowers are base coated and all of our berries are base coated. And I'm going to make sure this is good and dry. And then we're going to base coat our berries with a little bit of that tomato red or country red, or whatever red you used for your background. And I put that coat of warm white down on the berries so that I would get nice bright red. Comme ça. So we get this really nice bold red. Having that little coat of white just keeps everything nice and bright. If I put it right over top of that faux finish, it would be a little on the dark side. We would kind of lose that vibrancy because it would be reacting to that darker color underneath it. Whereas that little bit of red or a little bit of white underneath the red just gives it little extra vibrancy. So it pops off of that surface. And you don't want these reds too close together because they become one and the same and they just sort of get lost in there. And having that little bit of white, it separates the two reds.
Somebody has a mini schnauzer.
Oh,
Yeah.
schnauzers are nice dogs.
They are nice dogs. But the toy, the mini teacup schnauzers
Yeah.
are all descendants of what is known as the giant schnauzer.
So little dog, big attitude?
Bred for one specific thing.
What's that?
Protecting people.
Oh, okay.
So when you get minis of this, now you have a dog with a very large personality in a small package. And yeah, I've seen giant schnauzers at work and they are scary dogs.
So just miniaturize the scary.
Yeah. Great dogs, easy to train. They're stubborn for a reason.
Yeah. They don't give up. So look at the difference having that little bit of white underneath that red. And it's only one coat. I don't need to put 5 coats on because we're going to be putting a highlight on this. We're going to put a shading on this. We don't need to have 5 coats of red. And so we get this really nice, vibrant punch of red on our surface. So I'm going to dry that really well.
I have a mini snoring gremlin.
Frenchie or
Robin Storm. I'm thinking she's talking about Gizmo.
Gizmo.
Right? Yeah.
Such a cutie. So we're going to take a little bit of that soft black is our shading color for our berries. And by itself, I find it a little much. So I take a little of the red that I used for the berry itself and just add a little bit to it. It just makes this into a more of a darker red as opposed to a black. And it creates beautiful shadows on that country red. Just gives it a really nice rich tone. And it's perfect for shading reds. A little bit of soft black, little touch of that. People use black a lot for shading reds, and it can look a little harsh. But if you really want to soften it, make it a bit more manageable, pick up a little bit of your original color of the berry. So grab a little bit of your country red or your tomato red or what have you and mix that into your shading color. And it'll give you a nice, smooth transition. So brush that in. So it turns it from that harsh black to a very deep red.
Teresa, Tracy, Susan Potts, Jessica. We're going to use your donations to pay for some adoption fees
Yes.
in your name.
Yes.
Because Teresa Casper just donated another $50.
Oh, thank you.
She says, celebrating. Oop, it went away. Where'd it go? Celebrating something.
Home from the hospital?
Celebrating your new pupper maze. She's curled up at my feet.
Terry's had some problems with her back.
Tracy Craig saying, sounds good to me.
So that gives us that nice rich shading. It's not an in-your-face. It's not harsh. It's not so heavy. It doesn't take away all of that vibrancy. So we're going to highlight these berries with a little bit of wild berry. I love this color. It's one of those colors where I wasn't sure how you would use it. It kind of has a vintage pink feel to it. It's kind of a red, kind of a pink. It's a pretty tone. So I thought it would make a great highlight color on this, and boy does it. So little floats, C-shaped, opposite that dark shadow, and in from the edge just a little bit. You don't want to go right to the edge. We want to create sort of that rounded out spherical appearance.
They're 94% away.
6%.
They're 6% away. Sorry. I used the wrong terminology.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. We paid $150 for each of our kittens from the shelter. Oh yeah, we're gonna do dogs. We're gonna do cats.
Yep.
We're gonna make sure that I don't like doing it right before Christmas because that's the worst time to do it.
We don't have to do it. We can do it anytime we like.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
So I'm not a fan of people getting
Pets
animals
at Christmas. Yeah.
as gifts. It just doesn't seem right to me. But
Well, and Christmas is so much upheaval in a house at the holidays.
yeah,
It's, I don't know. I think it's
Christmas puppies have a tendency to be back in a shelter in no time.
yeah. There's so much going on in a house. I just think it's a difficult time to bring an animal in. Even though I think a puppy or a kitten is a nice gift.
It is. I'd
But-
take one.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, it's a nice gift, but at the same time,
You got to be prepared for it.
yeah. So I have the highlight on all of those berries. And now I'm going to add a little punch of light to those berries with a dot of warm white. And I'm putting that dot on the upper left portion of each highlight, right on the edge of the highlight. Just like that. Tiny dot, you don't want it too heavy. And it just gives those berries that shine, that little bit of a sheen or polish.
Wax.
So I'm going to dry that real quick. I have another design using that Christmas rose coming up soon too, so just a variation on it.
Kathy's one. I think it's Kathy. Iris. Sorry. Iris was wondering what the highlight you were using.
The highlight color on the berry is wild berry.
And what was the alternative to wildberry?
You can use a little bit of joyful pink. Will work just fine. Slightly darker, but it's enough. And it's enough of a contrast so you could use it on that. So we have center of our flowers. We're going to use a little bit of saffron yellow. Just a little. I've got warm white in the center. So we're going to use a little bit of saffron yellow. And then the shading color for the center is a little bit of orange flame. And I'm keeping this as simple as possible. So I'm just going to take a little of that saffron yellow and I'm going to float the center of this, just a wash of that yellow over top of that white is all we really need. It doesn't have to be fully a full strength. We just need a little wash of that yellow in there. Over top of that white gives us a nice soft yellow. You could use sunset gold, you could use whatever you want. Nice, you just need a nice rich yellow.
What is a Chinese puppy? Like a Chinese crescent? That's one of the ugliest dog breeds out there.
They're so homely, they're cute.
Yeah, it's true. They're so ugly. You gotta love them.
Yeah.
A Chinese pug. Oh,
Oh, goodness.
yeah, those are fun.
So I just popped a little of that orange flame in there in the center. That's what I shaded that center portion with. And we're going to let that dry. And we're going to come over and pick up a little bit of that wild berry. And this is the shading color for the inside of our flowers. So I've thinned this out a little bit. Obviously not enough. There we go. And I'm going to shade up underneath that little flip over in there. Wherever there is a turnover, you're going to put a shadow of that thinned wild berry. and it's loose. Don't worry about getting it just perfect because it doesn't matter. And there's a little C-shaped float that goes into each of those little folds in those petals.
Sharpay.
Oh, those are the guys that are too small for their skin.
Yeah. And because of that, those folds get infected with fungus and skin disorders and lots of health issues. However, great family dog.
Yeah. As long as they're cared for.
They have a very good demeanor. They're great dogs. Just too many health issues for me.
Yeah.
Not a dog for me. I think they're cool though. They look like Michelin men.
I don't know. To me, they just look like they're not quite done.
We're waiting for the dough to rise, and it never happens.
It's just not quite done. So I used that little bit of wild berry to shade up under all those little flip overs and turnovers in the petals. I'm going to use them to shade those folds just a little. And those little folds just give a little texture to these, I was going to say leaves, petals.
Somebody wants you to paint a Sharpay.
Paint a Sharpay.
Yeah.
I actually had a request this past week, a lovely note sent to me. Somebody would like me to paint a bear.
A bear.
And so I am painting a bear.
The bears.
Birds.
The bears.
Not a teddy bear, like a bear.
A bear.
Yeah.
Like a gur?
Yeah, a gur bear.
Or like a yogi?
No, not a yogi bear. More like Smokey.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And I was sitting here doodling it the other day, and I kept thinking to myself that it kind of looks like an angry Care Bear. It's kind of cute.
It's the reject Care Bear.
Well,
It's the rejected Care Bear.
They do have an angry bear in the Care Bears.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched Care Bears.
They do have one that frowny bear or grumpy bear or something like that.
I don't know.
Anyway, but this one just kind of looked like
they lost me at the one that
somebody's in my parking space bear. He just looked kind of grumpy. So I had to kind of rework him a little bit because I thought, he's going to look more like an unhappy bear, and that wouldn't do. So
Smokey the Bear.
Yeah, no.
If Smokey the Bear was around today and saw all the forest fires that were going on,
he wouldn't be very happy.
He wouldn't be a very happy bear.
No.
So call him Smokey the Bear. Retired.
Well, you know what? In this day and age with, legalized pot, Smokey the Bear might have a different connotation.
Very true.
I don't think he'd be happy about that either, so.
His name is Grumpy Bear?
Is it Grumpy Bear? Okay, because mine didn't look like Grumpy Bear. Mine looked like I hate being in traffic at rush hour bear.
Irritated Bear.
Irritated Bear. Yeah, that's pretty much sums it up. But yeah, he's coming along. He just kind of looks a little grouchy. Okay, where was I? Okay. See, I got completely off track. Talking about bears and ended up talking about traffic and grumpy people. So we're going to deepen the shading on this piece in the flowers with a little bit of thinned asphaltum. Now, essentially all I'm doing is just toning that pink down a little bit. Just a little. It's not a dark float, but I want to deepen that color just a little, especially in those areas under the turnovers. It doesn't have to be all that strong. It doesn't have to be perfect either. So I'm just using a little bit in a few key places just to deepen it and tone down that pink. Just a little. I'm liking it. So I'm going to take a little bit of either titanium white or cool white or white, anything but warm white. It just needs to be a little bit brighter. And
He'd be more than grumpy in Houston traffic. Ticked bear. I'm not going to use the other word. But we all know what the other word is.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull a little bit of that cool white or titanium white, just a little float here and there, just to brighten the centers opposite the shadows and the edges of some of these petals. Just a little.
Do I have plans for Maze?
I think they're thinking, are you going to make her a working dog?
Pet, companion, protection, alarm system.
Yeah, nothing. Mostly just somebody to love on.
I'd like to see what she develops into. If she is more geared towards protection, then great. We'll focus on that. If she's more of a nose work dog, we'll find her something to do.
Either way.
First week. I'm not going to know what this thing's still trying to figure out if it can pee inside or outside. So, not picking her job for her.
Not just yet.
Not just yet.
So I'm going to grab a little bit of that cool white and we're going to do those flip overs. I'm going to do that with my liner brush. Maybe I'll do that with a rigger. Probably be easier with the rigger. And I'm going to grab a 0 instead of a 2 because I need something a little bit smaller. So I'm using a little bit of thinned cool white, titanium white, whatever. And we're going to stroke in those little flip overs and turnovers in the petals. Just like that. I like doing these last because then you can get them a little closer to the edge of the petals. And you can get them a little bit more refined so they don't look quite so.
Do you have any more of those postage stamp surfaces?
I have some coming.
You have some coming?
Yes.
Okay. We don't have any right now, but they will be available on tracymoreau.net.
Yeah. But it does also fit very nicely on an 8x10 panel.
Yep.
As you can see, because that's what I'm working on. So an 8x10 panel will work just fine. 8x10 canvas will work just fine.
Where did you get the postage stamp surface?
I got them from Deb. Painting with Deb. She made them for me.
Yeah. She got them on her website?
I think she may, but Deb lost her husband this past week. And so she's not shipping much this week. So give her a little bit of time. I do have some coming, so I will say this, if you're looking for them, you can also get them at Cover Distributing. They have one that's just slightly larger, but this design will work just fine on it. Okay, so I just took all that white paint and just stroked in all of those little flip overs and turnovers in the edges of the petals. And then I'm going to take a little bit of asphaltum, a little bit of thinned asphaltum, and I'm going to separate some of these these petals a little bit and set this flower back a little. I do find that it's a little close. So I'm going to create just a little bit of contrast so that that flower is a little further back. And then I'm going to separate these two petals a little, just like so.
Settle down there, Twitchy. Nope, the ears are going.
So one of the things that I love doing to everything is I like having a soft, irregular edge. I like it when things are not absolutely perfect. And so I'm taking my liner and I'm just giving the edges of these petals a little scribbly line. Nothing heavy. It's ultra fine. I'm basically just outlining these petals with a very soft, squiggly line. It just gives the edges of the petals a softness. And I think it's appealing, but that's just me. So I like that little bit of contrast, that softening at the edges of the flowers. And I'm going to brighten this just a little. This petal wasn't quite bright enough. There we go. It is just paint. If ever you find you're not completely happy with something, you can brighten it. It is just paint. So I'm going to dry this and then I'm going to grab my gel pen. You didn't think that we're going to go all day without doing a gel pen.
That's funny.
And I'm going to use my gel pen just to create a little sketchy line on each of the petals coming out from the center, just like this. Easy peasy, nothing perfect. Just like that. A little bit. Just like that. And then we're going to add some dip dots in the center there. We're going to start with a little bit of asphaltum or soft black, either one. I have soft black right here, so that's what I'll use. And we're going to put a few of those little dip dots on the shaded side of our center and out onto the edges of the petals like that. Much like I do with my daisies, we're just going to do this very loosely. And then I'm going to repeat that with a little bit of warm white. And the warm white is going to be on that highlight side, like so. And don't forget, take it out over onto the leaves, the petals. So I'm going to dry that, and then we're going to work on a little bit of metallic. We're going to use a gold paint pen, and we're going to put a simple border on this. A very simple border. I'm going to be using one of these. This is a Deco Color fine gold paint pen. I have one that's a little thicker. I really like this one for this. I wanted something a little more delicate, so I went with this one, which is that extra fine gold paint pen. Give that a good shake, and then we're going to get our ruler. I like a steel-edged ruler for this. What's the matter? Hey, Mace. What's up, Mace?
Did you drop something?
No, I had to go get my ruler. Mace just woke up. So I like using a steel edge ruler for this because these ones are corked back. They're slightly off the surface. It just reduces the chance of any bleeding on your surface. So I'm going to come in from the edge of my surface by about 1/2 inch. I'm going to use my chalk pencil. I want to come in about 1/2 inch from the edge. Now, if I were on the postage stamp surface, it would be about the same, about 1/2 inch.
Oh, I saw something about asking about brushes. Wait a second. Which brush was done with? Was the lining done with?
The lining. I'm using a 15-aught or a 10-aught extra long detail liner. It's a Dynasty Micron.
There we go.
Yep.
Have you used asphaltum yet?
Not yet. But we will. Don't worry. Going to use my asphaltum for toning in a few places right at the end. So I'm just making a mark at the 1/2 inch all the way around. So now I'm going to use my gold paint pen. I'm going to give this a good shake. It's been sitting there for a while, so. And then I'm going to prime it, make sure I've got, paint. Lots of paint. And I'm going to use my 6-inch ruler. And I'm going to put this right at the edge so I know where I am. I need to start at that 1/2 inch mark. I'm going to stop just before I hit any of the greenery. So it gives you the appearance that it's tucked in behind. There. And I like that gold paint pen for this. It makes just such a pretty, pretty border.
Oh, Andrea George. Haven't seen that name in a while.
Hi, Andrea.
Just got back from Hawaii.
Oh, my.
And we've discovered that we're definitely not hot weather people.
Yeah, I'm not a hot weather person either. Beautiful, but too hot. So I've got nice little gold border. I like a gold border on this. I just think it's elegant. It has a nice elegance to it. And it's Christmassy. You need a little bit of bling. There's no glitter on this one, so we needed something. So there we are. So on this lower corner, I'm leaving a little space. I have something in mind. So I'm just going to leave a little space. Now, I'm going to clear off this palette because we're going to do a little bit of stenciling. And that would be a bit much. Now, the stencil that I'm going to use is one of my favorites. It's this one. We're using this postage stamp, this cancellation stamp. And I like to have it go off the surface a little bit. It's just a me thing. I just think it's more interesting than having it in big round stamp in the middle of things. So I'm going to use a little bit of 24 karat gold. We're going to do this in 2 stages. I'm going to grab my brayer, and I have my stamps with the cancellation stamps. And I'm going to roll out a little paint with my brayer. And I'm going to load up those stamps with a little bit of that gold paint. And I'm going to press that in there. I love the imperfection. Love it. And then I'm going to take that individual one. I want to put one over here. I like cancellation stamps. And then I'm going to dry this real quick, and then we're going to stencil our larger cancellation stamp onto this surface. So I've got my stencil. I'm going to align it right about there and pick up a little bit of gold paint. And in a circular fashion, I'm going to apply a little bit of gold paint. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be opaque. We're just going to have a little bit of gold on here. Beauty. And we'll dry this. Just like that little extra, I don't know, that little extra bling.
Oh,
and that little pattern.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't forget to turn your clocks back.
Yep. Fall back.
Yeah. Especially this weekend.
Yep.
So I think it lands on a Sunday, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Sunday night, Monday morning. It does the switch.
Yep.
I won't need it because this thing's gonna wake me up. She's a great alarm clock. She bites my ears.
And your beard.
And no, not so much the beard lately.
Oh, that's good.
But she bites my ears to get me up. And she's figured out how to get underneath the covers.
Uh-huh.
And she makes her way down towards my feet and bites my toes.
There you go. Time to get up.
She's a demon.
Yeah. So I'm using a 0 or a number 2 rigger, whichever you're most comfortable with. I like either one. I use both of them quite a lot. So for those of you who have never seen me do this, I know most of you have, but a rigger looks like a liner, but it's actually built like a flat brush, and you'll notice it has a squared off chisel edge. And it makes it ideal for painting lettering. So if you put that chisel edge at the top of the letter and then press down till the brush fills the space.
Oh, tonight. Okay. Clocks go back tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Robin. Still won't need it.
I think I need a new rigger.
What?
I think that this one has finally bit the big one. It's splitting.
Oh no.
It's okay. I have one. I'm just loath to give them up.
I bet biting those toes tastes good. I wouldn't.
Ooh, jeez.
Don't like hot or cold. I need to live in San Diego. But it's too crowded and expensive. So, usual time.
I don't like humid. I don't mind
I can't
hot.
do humid either.
I can do hot as long as it's not humid.
Yeah. I can't do humid either.
Considering how much rain we had this summer, it was not that bad.
No. Is that a 0 watt?
It's a 0. Yep.
Yeah. Just a 0?
Yep.
It is a 0 rigger.
Yep.
Dynasty Faux Squirrel.
Yep.
I don't think Arizona changes time.
Some states don't. Some provinces don't. I don't know. Some people have a really tough time when the clocks go ahead or go back, and it doesn't bother me at all. But for some people, it causes a lot of issues. It messes up their internal clocks. But it has never really bothered me, so.
The humidity in Honolulu was 88%.
Yuck.
Gross.
Yep.
Sticky.
Yep. I don't do heat. I can't do it. No.
Is that a good nap there, Pipsqueak?
Here we are. Okay. I messed up a letter. So, good opportunity to show you how I fix these things. So, I just take scruffy brush, any kind of brush, just something that is a little stiffer, and wipe away whatever you painted on. Just catch it as soon as you can. That's the main thing. That's better. Except now I need paint on the brush. There we go.
When are you going to show us the classes you're going to be teaching in Chattanooga?
As soon as they put the catalog out.
Yeah.
And we're under contract, so I can't show you until
They decide to show you.
they decide to show you. So, and I do not want to step on toes. So as soon as they have the catalog ready, then I will be able to show you what I'm working on, what I'll be teaching.
Janet.
What? Which Janet?
Mills.
Okay.
Janet Mills. I adjust my dog's feeding time when the time changes so that stomach time is always the same. Makes it easier on them. That is 100% true.
Yeah.
especially if you have dogs that are very routine driven,
Yeah.
specifically shepherds and collies and
Yeah.
yeah. If that routine's not there and it's feed time to them, even though it's 7 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
no. It's feed time.
Yep. I don't care what the clock says.
Yeah, they don't care. Stomach says now.
Yep. Gee, that sounds like somebody we know.
She figured that out very quick.
Yes, she did. And you should hear her if she doesn't get her food on time.
Yeah. She gets quite irritable.
Yep.
Is the best way to put it.
Yep. So, we have lettering. I'm going to dry this real quick. And then when it's completely dry, we're going to... What did I do there? Good God. I managed to get paint everywhere today.
What font is Merry Christmas?
It is called Melanie.
You've used that one before.
I use it a lot. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
It's nice.
It's a nice, elegant script. But yes, the font is called Melanie. I got it from fontbundles.ca or .com, sorry. So I'm going to come back to my gold paint pen. This is something I really like. Oops, wrong one. That would have gone badly. I like to take a little bit of that gold that is on that outside border, and I like to bring a few dots of that into the center of the flower. Just like so. So it just adds a little bit of sparkle in there.
Melanie or Melanie?
Melanie.
M-O?
M-A. M-E, sorry.
M-E-L-O or M?
M-E-L-A-N-I-E.
Ooh. Both the ones Patrick provided were also wrong. So.
So I like that little flash in the center of the flower. I just think that that's really pretty. So I'm going to, now that this is nice and dry, I'm going to grab my eraser, my Factus Black, and we're going to remove graphite lines. I hate graphite lines. So I want to get them all gone. Make them all go away. Just cleans this up really nicely. Especially because we're using white graphite on a darker surface. You don't want those ghosty lines in there. At least I don't. So I just want to remove those. And the same with the lettering. Any graphite that's showing around the lettering, I want that gone too. There we go. Excellent. So I'm going to grab my fugly brush and a little bit of water or glaze. We're going to thin out a little bit of that 24 karat gold, and we're going to spatter this generously. I like the gold on this red, like so. Again, I like that little bit of sparkle that it adds to that background. And then I'm going to repeat that with a tiny amount of soft black. I just want a little bit of soft black on there.
Have you used asphaltum yet?
Not yet. It's killing you guys. I know it is. But I will use some, I promise. Well, actually, yes, I did use it on the flowers. But
Oh, did you?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So just a light spatter of that soft black. Just a little. Just adds a little texture in there. Besides the fact that it messes up my manicure, but it's all good. And this is when I just sort of sit back and I adjust the color and I look at it. And if anything needs to be toned, this is when I do it. So I'm going to make sure this is good and dry. And I'm going to take a little bit of asphaltum.
It's so beautiful. There should be a dibs.
I'm going to take a little bit of asphaltum, and we're going to go around the outside edge of this surface. Just a little. Ages the edges nicely. I just like how it warms it up a little. Gives it a nice little bit of age. And yep, go right over the gold. Those corners. And any little areas like these leaves, if you want to tone where they go underneath the flowers, put a little float of asphaltum in there as well. Just a little. Sometimes that just needs a little toning. It's not really shading, it's more of toning those grains. And it doesn't take much, just a little thin asphaltum in there. And we're going to dry that.
I'd love to get another puppy. Do it. I don't think I could survive puppy biting. There's puppy biting, and then there's Malinois puppy biting.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Mals think that everything is a teething ring.
Including your hand, your fingers, your
Fingers, your
toes, your
feet.
legs,
Yeah.
your arm.
But the puppy cuddles are worth it.
You have yet to lay down with her in bed.
Yeah.
Oh, she snuggles right up.
That's awesome.
She gets right in your armpit and just, yeah.
Nice cozy spot.
Nice cozy spot. You're warm. I'm warm. Let's sleep.
Okay. So remember the little space that I left down here? In that little gap in the border? Not the skip right there, which I have to fix. I've got a skip. How the heck? Okay. Fine. There we go. Okay. So that little space that I left open right there is for this. Just put my signature in that little gap in the bottom. And that is
Pretty.
our Christmas roses.
Speaking of pretty, look at you. And curled. I need this cable. Thank you. Just don't chew it. Thank you. Yes. Switch cameras, I guess.
Yep.
There we go. Cameras have been switched.
You're welcome, Cindy. It was bugging my brain too. That little skip drives me nuts. This design works very, very well on almost any surface. It can be an 8x10 canvas. It can be an 8x10 postage stamp. In this case, you can enlarge it slightly to put it on a bigger surface. It will work well on almost anything that is in that proportion, like say an 8x10 or a 9x12. It's going to work very, very well. You can make that border as small or as big as you want. It could be a nice wide border if you prefer, or it could be just dots and dashes. It could be whatever you want it to be. So on the 8x10, it works really nicely. That's just a simple art panel, cradle panel. I'm going to finish out the edges, probably with soft black, and just to give it a nice finish on the edges. On the postage stamp, it works really, really nicely. I like the character of this surface. It's just, it fits nicely with this theme in here, that cancellation stamp. And it has a real nice vintage feel to it, which is the wallpaper, or not wallpaper, the wrapping paper and the old Christmas cards are kind of what inspired me to do this piece. So much so that I've actually got a couple of other pieces using the same idea, just changed up the design slightly so that it will work on a variety of surfaces. So it's a fun one. I've also done another version of this line drawing for this one in the reverse, so that we have the composition goes in the other direction, down in the lower corner as opposed to the upper. So it's just one of those design themes that kind of stuck with me and parlayed into some other things. So I think you will really enjoy painting this. I know I have. I've been having a lot of fun with this design theme. I love this background. I think it works really well with dark greens. It works very well with blues. So if you have a nice contrasting color, in this case, I used red and soft black. The soft black has a reddish undertone, so it worked very well. And it has a nice soft look to it when it's finished. It's not harsh or garish. It's toned down, subdued, and it just has a wonderful, elegant feel to it. And throwing on a little bit of gold just ups the ante a little bit. And I think altogether this makes for a nice, elegant Christmas design. So I had a lot of fun doing this one. I hope that you guys do too. So while I am finished painting, Renee has finished loading up the wheel.
Yep.
Yep. And how many names are on it this week?
A good amount.
A good amount?
A good amount.
Okay. I would say so. It looks a little crowded.
It starts with a 2.
Okay.
And it ends with a 5.
Okay.
And there's 3 digits in there.
Okay. So it's over 205. Or exactly 205.
No, it's not exactly 205.
Okay. So it's over 205.
It's over 205. There's a lot of names.
It's a lot of names. That's good.
Good luck to you all.
Good luck to you all. So just to reiterate, the prizes this week are something a little special. So the value of each of these prizes is around $35, which is a nice little add-on. So we have a gorgeous set of Tombow drawing pens, my favorites. It's a 3-pen set. They're fantastic. There is a beautiful Dynasty Water Lily. It's a 1-inch oval, nice big fat filbert. It's beautiful for varnishing. And if you're using it for watercolor, it will move water around and color around on large spaces. It's a gorgeous brush. And then from the Stencil Studio, we have a beautiful new 8.5 by 11 stencil for each of you. I believe there's one for Christmas, and then there's one from the French theme in there. So there's 3 of those. Plus there's always some other goodies that we toss in as well. So holy smokes, Andrea Nemethene Tiba.
Yeah, I wasn't going to try.
Well, you know, the accents made it a little easier for me. So, Andrea, go to my website at tracymoreau.net. No?
Because your speech bubble thing.
Let me finish.
Oh, okay.
Go to my website at tracymoreau.net. Click on the menu at the top where it says more and send us a message through our contact button. A little convoluted getting there, but you can get there. And send us a message with your shipping information so that we can get your goodies out to you as soon as possible.
That's a different way to do it.
Yeah. Slightly different way to do it. I'm trying to get the speech bubble fixed. The GoDaddy people are working on it.
Let's go again. I have a sweaty foot because there is a dog using it as a pillow. Paula McCoy.
Awesome.
I'm going to call you Bones.
McCoy. Okay. Star Trek reference. Well done.
I had to. With a name like McCoy. Are you the real McCoy?
I would say so. So, Paula, don't forget, head over to the website, click on the More button at the top of the menu, and send us a message through the Contact button in there with your shipping information so that we can get your goodies out to you as soon as possible.
And spin.
And one more.
It's me. No, it's not.
No.
Jane Schumann.
Awesome. So, Jane, same for you. Make sure that you hop over to the website at tracymoreau.net. Click on the More button, hit the Contact button, and send us your shipping information so that we can get your goodies out to you. And
boom.
if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hop on over to YouTube and click on the big red subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so that you know when we go live every Saturday here at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. We try to have as many interesting projects for you every year as we can possibly fit in. And I really appreciate, I've been getting more and more messages lately, people asking for very specific things, which makes my life so much simpler. So I really do appreciate suggestions and comments, and anything that you would like to learn, I'm more than happy to put together a project for it. So if you have some ideas, please don't be shy. We would love to hear them. And next Saturday, we're painting a bear. We're going to be painting, it's another one of the cattle tags. We're going to do one for Christmas. We're going to do one for the Christmas tree. I think you're going to have fun with this one. He's Grumpy Bear. I think you're going to find. Maybe I can make him look a little happier before it's all
Irritated
finished.
bear.
Irritated bear. Yeah, I'm stuck in traffic bear. So we're going to be doing another cattle tag for next Saturday. So join us right here on either on Tracy Morrow Live on Facebook, or you can join us on YouTube at Tracy Morrow Design. Just click on the link, hit the subscribe button, and join us right here, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. We go live with fun class and try to cover as many techniques as we can get in. Something fun and interesting for you to paint. So thanks so much for joining us, as you always do. We appreciate you. And please, mwah, stay safe. We'll see you again soon.
Pet your dog. I'm going to pet the hell out of this one. See if I can get the mute buttons to work again.
Oh, is that why we lost the camera or the sound the last time?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hey, that one worked.